We're happy to have you as part of our UUFC service this morning. For those of you who are wondering, I'm Cecil Huey, and I'm a member of the UUFC Board of Directors. First, I'm sure all of you join me in congratulating our interim minister, Reverend Christina Branham Martin, on her ordination and in welcoming her at Clemson. We all look forward to having her with us for the next couple of years. We're all learning to carry on during the COVID environment, and most of us have probably learned more than we wanted to know about Zoom, online services, and the like. UUFC is right there with you and encourages everyone to check the UUFC website for timely information, announcements, and updates. But I want to note a few items in particular right now. Normally, on Sundays, we collect food donations for the Clemson Community Care Food Pantry. For now, you can drop off donations at their location Monday through Thursday from 8:30 to 1:30. They're on Highway 76 near the intersection with Highway 123. I checked their website this morning, and it indicates that they are currently short of juices, tomato sauce, pasta, grits, crackers, Jello, cereal, toothpaste, shampoo, and toilet paper. No surprise there, I guess. UUFC was Habitat's first team of 4 to work on site last Saturday since the COVID-19 shutdown. If you would like to participate in one of the future UUFC team assignments, contact Gordon Crane. He'll let you know about upcoming opportunities. No carpenter experience is required. I doubt if you even need a hammer. For those of you who are interested in joining an online covenant group, Reverend Christina Branham Martin will facilitate up to 2 new online groups this fall. Covenant groups are a great way to get to know each other and, of course, to get to know our new interim minister. There's an online sign-up form on the UUFC website. For more information, contact Karen Hebel. Her contact info is also on the website. Finally, you'll find a colorful box near the top right of the UUFC website homepage. It says, "Make a Difference, Donate Now." Clicking on it will take you to UUFC's PayPal option, where you can contribute your pledge or donate to our monthly benevolences. We really need to thank our stream team for making this happen. Thanks for being with us this morning. Stay safe.
I'm Dillman Baker Sorrells, guest minister this morning, a retired Unitarian Universalist minister and a longtime member of this congregation. Our minister retired in July, and we will be joined by an interim minister later this month, the Reverend Christina Branham Martin. The theme of the service this morning is COVID as threshold. This congregation, like most others in the country, is stepping across the threshold of what we think of as the normal past into this strange land of COVID-19 and hoping for a better future. The issues with us are how to maintain a community when we can't interact face to face. Rather, we rely on the internet and the bright folks who know how to make this and other connections happen. And I thank all those who helped make this service possible. In addition, this congregation is going through another doorway. Not only do we navigate over the threshold of COVID-19, but we have a new minister who comes to us in a time when we can't even sit in the sanctuary together and meet her. Rather, we will rely on the internet to get acquainted. Strange territory we are inhabiting, a time of Zoom, FaceTime, phone calls, and meeting doctors in parking lots with masks over our faces. We begin our service with the lighting of the chalice flame, and in speaking our affirmation, I hope you'll join me wherever you are with your own chalice lighting and with saying these words with me. We gather together in the spirit of love with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek truth through freedom, and to care for one another. Our opening words this morning address this present situation, written in rather formal language. At such a moment as the present, every mind is fixing a fearful attention on the state of the country. The present is indeed a solemn period. The sad reverse which this country exhibits astonishes as well as depresses us. But a short time ago, we stood at the heights of prosperity, at least for some. At such a moment as this, it becomes each one of us to ask ourselves, what are our duties? What the times demand from us? In what manner may we contribute to the public safety? You will remember that we profess a religion which enjoins benevolence towards all. Let not approaching danger unsettle our principles. These words sound as if they're written about the pandemic, but William Ellery Channing wrote these during the War of 1812. Channing was a famous minister in the early to mid 19th century and the first president of the American Unitarian Association in 1825, nearly 200 years ago. So I recall, you will remember that we profess a religion which enjoins benevolence towards all. Let not approaching danger unsettle our principles.
In these hard times there will always be singing in these hard times. In these hard times there will always be singing in these hard times.
Yes, there will always be singing. Yes, in these hard times. Yes, there will always be singing in these hard times.
Yes, there will always be singing. Yes, in these hard times. Yes, there will always be singing in these hard times.
Let us be still within ourselves in prayer, calling upon the light, the justice, the love, the wisdom that guide us in our journey. Let us remember those who have suffered from this virus all around the world, those who've lost family members, sometimes not even being able to see them in their last days. May our fears of this disease be diminished as we find ways to nourish our spirit as well as our body. Let us remind ourselves that this time calls upon us to be good neighbors, that our religion is one that calls upon benevolence toward all people, not just to those who live around us, but to others who are in need. In the midst of the pandemic, we must not forget those who've lost their jobs and their livelihood, nor those seeking justice in an unjust world. We are called upon still to do the work that can effect racial justice. This time of lockdown can bring upon us a sense of isolation, a feeling of alienation even, and a dreadful loneliness for us all. Often we yearn to see others face to face. This is when we must call upon our own strength and courage and faith. Our strength that comes from within, passed on by our mentors, families, teachers, and our own hard-won inner spiritual depths. Our courage to that which allows us to go on when all is not well, despite the barriers, the fears that are in us and with us. Our faith in ourselves, our own agency, our community, and our common humanity, the reliance on the wider society for goodness and the basic presence of love and caring for others. May these carry us through the days ahead. Let us be still, silent for a moment. May you find peace in the name of all that is holy. Amen. I sit here in my own house. I miss our sanctuary. I feel very strange offering a service to this empty house. Then in my mind's eye, I begin to see you, Bing and Nancy over there. I see Amanda right there on the aisle and Jackie on the other aisle, and Cecil against the wall over there. And I can see our president, Dave, sitting back there somewhere, and his wife, Karen, and our beautiful children and young people all scattered throughout. Corey at the piano. Isn't the imagination wonderful? I don't have to feel alone now. Thank you for your presence out there somewhere. We think of a threshold as that crossover from one space into another, often marked by a change in flooring or a door or an arch. We scarcely notice as we walk through doors into another room or from outside to inside. But this has got to be the longest threshold I've ever walked over. The one between what we thought of as normal life and whatever lies ahead after the pandemic, assuming there is an after. We feel the difference in temperature when we go outside from inside. This threshold is far different. We thought it would be 2 months, maybe 3. We are now on the 5th month and counting, no end in sight. It's affecting all people, everywhere, and every part of our lives. How do we keep our inner spiritual compass functioning as we're confronted with the new life as it will be in our unknown future? We may catch ourselves saying something like, "Oh, I'll be so glad when we're back to normal." It certainly won't be what we call back to normal, because we have ventured into new territories as we cross this threshold. I don't think we will ever return to that particular normal, for this deadly, highly contagious virus has changed much of our lives. Nor will this congregation be the same. We have a new minister coming, whom we cannot even talk to face. Despite the lockdown, however, we've found new ways to be together, meeting on FaceTime or Zoom or similar venues. We visit when we can, with 6 feet between us and behind face masks, no hugs, no handshakes. I make my masks out of brightly colored fabrics from Bali. I think we all look a bit like crazed bank robbers, although what bank robber would be caught like this? So here we are in an uncertain future, meeting with 2/3 of our faces covered. We can make this a time to look forward, to learn from our past, to appreciate our past with our former minister and with our life before this particular virus hit. I have to admit, I am fascinated by this virus. The tiny globe, so beautiful, with little almost flower-like protuberances around it. It's lovely to look at and a marvel biologically. It apparently reproduces fast on a viable host. Alas, that host may be a human being. Biologically, I can only admire this tenacious submicroscopic cell, but its results can be devastating on a human host. We constantly see the statistics going up and up, first here, then there, but it is real people like you, like me. We are the ones who are finding ourselves sick, all because of this tiny being. You may know friends or relatives who have suffered through this illness or lost their jobs due to the lockdown. Our administrator and her family, husband and 4 children, have had the virus. I don't know of any of our members who have had it, but in this isolation, would I have heard? I don't know. That is a helpless feeling. It's changed our lives, as Channing said about the war. A short time ago, we were in the height of prosperity, but now we are in a solemn time, one that calls us to ask ourselves, what can we do to better our world and to remember our Unitarian Universalist principles? Yes, we can wear masks and distance ourselves from others for the public safety. But how can we keep our congregation healthy in a time when we're not face to face? Our affirmation spoken at the beginning of the service says, we covenant to care for each other. Let's be sure we do that. The longer this lockdown lasts, the more critical is our necessity to care for one another. It is our duty, our responsibility to do that. We can't allow the lockdown to compromise our principles, as Channing wrote so long ago. In the months to come, we must be attentive to our fellow congregants with phone calls or cards or however you best communicate with others. Take advantage of the various means of communication open to us, and know who among us don't have these means available. Find other ways to reach them. We crossed over our congregational threshold as we released our minister in June, and soon we welcome the Reverend Christina Branham Martin, whose ordination we watched last week. What an opportunity we have to begin creatively a communal relationship with her, online and in every way we can, hoping that soon we might be able to see her, to welcome her face to face. During her time, we can care for her as she cares for us, honoring her work and her wisdom. All of us who are ministers bring differing gifts, and we welcome hers. We are fortunate to invite her into our midst. Sometimes now, I think of us as pilgrims, for every religion, ours included, has differing rites, places for pilgrimages, stepping over thresholds into new territory. Pilgrims don different clothing, seek new religious rites and sites, perform acts that they might not have done ordinarily. Our threshold, our new territory is here now. We didn't choose to be on this part of the pilgrimage, the one that requires face masks and keeping 6 feet away from others and having worship services like this. The other part of our pilgrimage is our relationship with a new minister, as we rely on Christina's life experiences and education to lead us. We are pilgrims on a different path, trying to find ourselves in a new way. As individuals, we may be dealing with illness, or trying to survive without a job, or trying to figure out how to pay the rent. The isolation in our homes puts enormous stress on so many, with its loneliness and disconnection. In my own household, the isolation is a puzzle for my husband with dementia. He can't begin to comprehend why life is suddenly so different. My hope for us as individuals is that we take advantage of this odd time to think, time to look at our own lives, see improved paths we might walk in the future, find new ways to care for one another. Have we asked ourselves about what to do, what we can do to make our lives and others better? I look at the chalice I have in my house and I ask myself, what am I making of my life? Even sequestered, what can I do to help others, to help myself, to help us all feel connected? How might we volunteer tomorrow to help others? How can we work on healing race relations in our town, our country? Have you read the pledge that so many of us took some months ago, the Clemson pledge to end racism? I've been doing that while locked down, and I've read it again and again. What can each of us do to help bring about equality in our world? How can we live out our faith of benevolence toward all? What can this strange pilgrimage of COVID-19 teach us? I leave you with all these questions. Close with benediction. May our coming together enrich our lives and strengthen our resolve. May you be blessed with a spirit of love and care for each other. And we extinguish the flame. Amen.